Good evening. Thank you all for coming to our Legal and Policy Professionals program. My name is Kevin Garvey. I'm one of the coordinators of the program. It's my pleasure this evening to have Jonathan Berry, a friend, the managing partner of Boyd and Gray. Well, so let's talk about some concrete policy examples. What does the incoming Secretary of Labor, in thinking outside the box and sort of making, just re-industrializing America, right? How do we incentivize the global multinationals to come back and start building stuff here? And maybe the pitch is sort of, this is actually in the interest of building, good communities. So how do you, so you pitch the idea of maybe sort of, having more sort of, rules around keeping the Sabbath holy, right? So what are the, I guess the big picture, how do we sell America on this vision of labor is good, and sacred?
Rules around keeping the Sabbath holy, right? So what are the, I guess the big picture, how do we sell America on this vision of labor is good, and sacred?
Yes. And also then what are you on day one taking to the new Secretary of Labor?
So probably my biggest recommendation here, to go a step more concrete than work as service, as valuable as I think that is, as the overall frame, is promoting worker agency, promoting worker ownership, making it easier for employees to co-own businesses that they're a part of. Is something that can be, it's literally promoting worker ownership. And then you alluded to this, but something I really encourage, I don't see a big, it's harder to see a big federal role for this. I think this is more a question of state and local law, is reinvigorating where possible Sabbath rest laws.
Reinvigorating where possible Sabbath rest laws.
That having,
just as long as you still buy beer on the Sabbath.
To be very specific, like it used to be, this was basically the norm through, as best I've looked into this some, I'm working on some research on this, literally dating back to Constantine, and his recognition of Christianity in the Roman Empire, that you've had a pretty consistent tradition in Western civilization of taking Sunday off from commerce.
Literally dating back to Constantine, and his recognition of Christianity in the Roman Empire, that you've had a pretty consistent tradition in Western civilization of taking Sunday off from commerce.
This is a tradition that has roots not only in Christianity but in Judaism, right? And keeping the Sabbath holy.
And keeping the Sabbath holy.
And having a time not only for, it's not merely from rest in the sense of abstinence from work, but it's rest for time with God.
It's rest for time with God.
Time worshiping God. It's rest for time with community, and even in between is time with family. The lack, one of the things that I think has been so harmful to the world of work and how we think about work is the lack of kind of well-defined and shared times for rest. One of the best pieces on this from a secular-ish author named Judith Shulevitz put this in the Atlantic a few years ago, called "Why You Never See Your Friends Anymore." And she opens with talking about the Soviet experiment in abolishing the 7-day week, replacing it with a 5-day week where just 1/5 of all the people are randomly assigned, like, you will have this day off, you will have this day off. It was a debacle. And within a few years, even the Soviets had to admit this was a very bad idea. Like these are like, these are the masters of even the Gulag people thought that this was a bad idea. Like, we can't keep doing this. So having more of that steadier rhythm of work and rest would be so much healthier, so much happier, and help people more readily connect with the purpose of their work. Being able to push back from your work allows you to more readily see it as service to God, service to family, service to community, than the weird kind of soup of half rest, half work that we all seem to be floating in all the time.